Hey guys, this is Life from Maniac, and I'm putting up today my espa roba deck profile. Now, what can I say first of all onto this character? Espa roba was one of the competitors in the Battle City tournament, of course, and one of the first competitor which dueled Joey, and his deck was solely based on Jinzo, and Jinzo all the supporting spell and trap cards that exists until this point. But I also put in there some TCG support cards which might fit into this deck as well. And espa roba was as a character a very irritating character, you might say, because he was pretending to be a prophet and to be a foreseer as well, to that he had a ability to foresee the future, but he hadn't. So he was just pretending, and as a result of that he had his brothers linked in this conspiracy, you might say, telling him the cards of the opponent which they spied on from the big building from high above with binoculars, and per I think earphones they told him, and he pretended then to call them out as which would be one of his fully result of his skills solely. Yeah, so let's go and tap onto it. As you guys see, I cleaned up my mat a little bit, and of course, I'm using this mat again, but yeah, next time I will maybe put the other one there. Now, first off, I have his Jinzo Lord. Now, this was a card he did not play out in the game, but as I already mentioned, there were several TCG support cards which were, I think, 1 or 2 years before dropped, and so yeah, I think they're appropriate into this deck. Once, just because that monster is, I think it's his most powerful monster with 2600 attack, even more powerful than Jinzo himself, so I have this as a one-off. Then of course 2 times Jinzo himself might fit in there very good, as this was his boss monster. I thought it would be very logical if he had it at last, or more his rarest card, that he had it at least 2 times in there. Then Jinzo, the menacing machine. Now that is of course one of because it has a very handy effect, which is very practical during the duel. Then these support cards has been come out, support cards for the Fiend Mega Cyber, the Psychic Mega Cyber. Now it has the ability to, if you have more, if your opponent has more spell and trap cards than you, then you can special summon instead. The other regular Mega Fiend Cyber had the ability, if you had your opponent had more monsters, then you could special summon, which we dropped then that link to that, the Fiend Mega Cyber, 2 times also as well. And then, and as there were more Jinzo support cards on the way, I put Jinzo Ejector 2 times in there. Like I already mentioned, those were just cards that he hadn't, or he didn't take into his deck in the anime, but yeah, I think they might even not be there at all. They kind of didn't exist in the anime at all, so yeah. I think, but if they had been existing, then he would have put him in his deck. Now, 2 times the Jinzo Ejector, then 3 times the Jinzo Returner. Both Jinzo Ejector as well as Jinzo Returner are 4, respective 3 stars monster cards, so you can normal summon it without any tribute, of course. Now I will go on with the monsters, as my camera is a little bit has not the quite good objective to get all the corners in. I will now put these monster cards away. Then I have Reflect Bounder as a 3-off. That was a very handy card that he possessed in the matchup against Joey Wheeler, and yeah, it has very good effect. If you attack it, the attack damage of the monster which your opponent possesses and attacks with comes fully into damage onto your opponent, but the Reflect Bounder is still destroyed. Now, if it is a monster which has lower attack stats than Reflect Bounder, which has 1700, then it is still destroyed at the end of the damage step. So yeah, you could say that it is an advantage on the one side, but also a disadvantage on the other side. Then, which did not exist in the anime, but as I already said, he might have used it if it existed, Psychic Bounder. Now, that's in developed form from the Reflect Bounder, so I put it in there as well. And then Cyber Rider 3 times. This is a specific card that he did engage into a battle. It was even the first card that he played out against Joey Wheeler. Then I put also in there Cyber Espa, which has a very good effect that he had not in his deck in the anime, but I think it might work quite well onto a strategy. Thus he was pretending to foresee the future, and you can see the top deck card of your opponent which he or she draws. Then also Cyber Phoenix, that has, I think, the ability to negate trap and magic spell cards which target one machine type monster of your on your side of the field. And if this monster card is destroyed as a result of battle, as well as either way, if it attacked or is it attacked and destroyed as a result of battle, then you can draw 1 card. Then, and onto his prophecy strategy fits as well as Big Eye. I put it 2 times in there. He hadn't in the anime, but if you can take the top 5 gods of your own deck and yeah, and then put them in the direction which you want it to be. Then further on, Mystic Tomato. Mystic Tomato is a card which comes in handy. And Hero's Shadow Scout. Now that might also be a thing which comes very into the line with the tactics of seeing the future, because it has the ability to let the opponent draw 3 cards and then then he has or she has to discard the magic cards or spell cards onto it, onto the graveyard. Then, last but not least, Jinzo 7, which is very logical in that way that he of course played all the Jinzo cards, and he did not play out that one, but I think he could have used it if it did exist in the enemy. Now, that were his monsters. I think, I'm not 100% certain, but I think he might have also Cyber Soldier of Darkworld, which I don't possess until now, but I might put it in there later on. And now onto his spells. He has Amplifier, which has the ability to negate all the which block the negation of your own trap cards. That because thus so far Jinzo has the effect that it also negates your own trap cards, and that negation is then blocked. Then the Fusion Wave Motion. That's a very good card to put effect damage on to your opponent. Senria Eye. Now that's a spell card which also always can see the top deck card of your opponent, and it's a continuous spell card, as well as the other one that I mentioned before. And you can always put that into effect. Then of course a staple like Monster Reborn, which is of course in most of these decks. And Hypnotic Control, which I think he played that out, but he battled against Rex Raptor before, and as Joey arrived there, he saw that Asperoba played this specific card out against the Serpent Night Dragon of Rex Raptor, and then defeated him. So yeah, you can be very certain that he had this card. And Snatch Steal, a card which enables you to take control of the opponent's monster permanently, but you have to give him 1,000 life points for it in each of his and her standby phases. Then Deleted Mind. That card could be activated if your opponent has 3 or fewer cards in his hand. Then your opponent has to put those cards into his deck and shuffle, and then draw another 3 cards, I think. Yeah. Then another card that he played out was Mind Control. I put it 2 times in there, which is very Asperoba-like, you would say. Seal of the Ancient, that you can see all the set cards of the opponent. Soul Exchange, another staple. Limiter Removal, which doubles the attack of all machine type monsters, and as he regularly and usually majority of his monster cards consists of mainly machine type monsters, that might come in handy. It has of course the downside that the machine type monsters are destroyed at the end of the battle phase, I think, but that would be quite worth it. Then Inexperienced Spy, which has the skill you can see 1 card in the hand of your opponent. Ancient Telescope, which quite works like the monster effect of Big Eye. You can see your, I think, top 5 cards, but you don't have the ability to change the chronological order of those, like with the Big Guy's effect. Then channeling. Yeah, you can. That works good with machine type monsters. I think you can send one monster you control that is owned by your opponent into the graveyard, and then you can special summon one machine type monster. And when your opponent draws for the normal draw on their draw phase where you control Jinzo, you can declare one card type, monster, spell, or trap. Your opponent reviews the card they drew, and if it's declared a card type, send this card to the graveyard, and if you do, draw one card. Yeah, this is effect which is linked up to the machine type monsters, and it's very handy. Then Cybernetic Shock, which is of course a card which works with Jinzo, as well as Law of the Cosmos, another of those spell cards which work with Jinzo. Factory of the 100 Machines, which works with machine type monsters. Then Brain Control, which is very handy in combination with those control line of strategy. Then Hidden Armory, which is good for your equip spell cards like Snatch, Steal, or Amplifier. You could put those from the deck to your hand. And Everlasting Alloy, last but not least, which of course, as you see on the artwork, works also with Jinzo. These were then his spell cards. I will now present you the trap cards, which are not that much in there, but still, as you have Amplifier at least 2 times, maybe I put it even another time in there. It works quite well even with Jinzo. Now, if your opponent activates a trap card, you can Psychic Shockwave, of course, sorry. You can see on the front of this trap card is or on the background, better to say, is a Jinzo, or the silhouette from the Jinzo, shadows of the Jinzo you can see. And it works like that. If your opponent activates a trap card, you can, I think, take one dark machine type monster with 6 stars as a special summon from your deck onto the field. 2 times at least. Then I have 2 times Tribute Altar, which is has the effect to destroy one monster from your side of the field, and you can increase your life points with the attack of that monster. Then Mind Hacking, you can pay 500 life points and see all the cards into your opponent's hand. Then Losing Your Mind, which has the ability to negate one opponent's effect monster which is in attack position, and you can change it also to face down defense position. Then Mind Destruction, which works that way. You can declare one card. If in C, then the opponent's hand. If that card is in your opponent's hand, you can discard it to a graveyard. And last but not least, Light of Intervention, which can see your face down, which enables you to see the face down trap cards, face down monster cards, face in defense position monster cards, and flip them face up permanently, as it is a continuous trap card. Now, guys, I hope you enjoyed this character deck profile, of course. Hit the like and subscribe button, and yeah, subscribe for more content. Stay tuned. I will, as I already mentioned very many times before, conclude very soon the Battle City era with, I think, the decks of Meiko Tsunami and as well as Revel Underwood. I'm not that certain if I did forget about another one, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, that would be it. Then we will have finished and concluded the Britain City era, and will be coming then to this cyber virtual world deck profiles as next saga. Then I wish all of you a good night and see you next time. Bye.